Not all Xbox One games are in HD?
They're in HD.
What do you... No, 720p isn't HD.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
But it is.
No, it's not.
It actually
No,
is.
I disagree.
But it is.
No.
I heard a story today that was talking about how more and more games for the Xbox One are coming out as 720p,
It's not HD.
upscaling to 1080p.
If it was HD, there would be no upscaling required, Chris.
Whereas the PlayStation 4 apparently natively, at least most of their games, natively go 1080p.
HD.
Yeah. Well, 720p is HD.
No, it's
this technically upscales to 720p. But the I don't know if it's the rumor or fact necessarily, but I mean I heard Call of Duty Ghosts is the big one.
That's the one everybody's been talking about.
Because on PlayStation it's 1080p, but on Xbox it's 720p upscaled to 1080.
But you know what upscaling means, right?
Oh yeah,
I mean, this there's nothing to debate here as far as I'm concerned. This is unacceptable.
it's 720.
This is the same problem Microsoft had when they released the Xbox without an HDMI output and they couldn't support HD natively.
Yeah, that was pretty bad too.
It's the same thing they're doing on this system release.
Or Blu-ray.
They don't support, in my opinion, the current technology for high definition, which isn't 720p. Let me say why I believe this to be a big problem for them,
Mm-hmm.
and you can respond accordingly.
Okay.
You too, Internet, respond accordingly in the comments below.
Well, I'm listening.
You better be listening, because
All right.
this is important. Kind of. Okay. When you are designing hardware that can support graphic rendering, you don't want to design hardware that supports lower resolutions, because what that says to everybody who's buying that hardware is that your hardware does not have the capability to put the right amount of pixels on the screen.
Sure.
Okay? So what this is it's an immediate declaration
Mm-hmm.
that our system cannot handle 1080p. It cannot
Sure.
handle the true high definition pixelation.
Sure.
All we can do is we can render the graphics in 720p and we can upscale them to 1080 artificially.
Yeah.
That's what I see as what they're actually arguing.
Yeah,
and that's a big problem for me.
I think the evidence of that also is when you look at it, it'd be something else. Say this is a publisher's choice to do 720, and that's fine.
Right.
But you have two games, well, one game from the same publisher on two different systems. One is 1080
Right.
and one is 720.
Yeah, that's just like a direct declaration of this hardware's superior, this hardware's inferior. You know, people can argue all day long
At
until
the
they're...
very least, it makes you wonder.
Well, no, it doesn't. It's like, you know, we talked about maybe making you wonder, but now that I'm thinking about it, why would they release it in 720p
It is.
if it was capable of supporting 1080?
I guess the ones that are 720 right now is Call of Duty,
Uh-huh.
Ghosts, Battlefield 4,
Okay.
Titanfall
Okay.
is going to be 720, from what I understand.
Right.
And I believe there was some hubbub with Rise that was going to be 720, and then they
4 games?
Last I heard, they kicked it up to 900p, which whatever that means.
That's wow. That means they squeezed every frame out of it they could up to that resolution,
guess.
which actually is an even more embarrassing declaration.
Yeah. So
Wow, we got it up to 900p. This is supposed to be cutting edge technology that you're investing in, right? The system's more expensive than the PlayStation.
yeah.
You're paying the extra $100. I know it's for the Kinect, but whatever. Throw away the Kinect, charge us the extra $100, and make the thing support the resolution that's been supported for what, 40 years now by technology? I can buy a I can buy a $30 1080p DVD player from Walmart now.
Yeah.
That'll output a better image than my Xbox One that I'm paying $600 for.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It
Ridiculous,
is,
Internet.
it
Sorry,
is,
I'm pissed.
Concerning, and it does, I think another big problem with this is, as we mentioned before, is the lack of information and cohesion as to what is going on with
Yeah, what the hell?
really either of them.
Give us a good reason why this is actually being done this way.
Yeah.
You know, why is everything so confusing? You had mentioned this at lunch. We had lunch and we were talking about this. Why is everything so confusing with these people? It's like there's sometimes you require internet, sometimes you don't. There's this sometimes you might need the Kinect, sometimes you don't. It's like but it's like why this isn't supposed to be a complicated product. That's the whole appeal of consoles. is that the average person can go out and know in full confidence that they're going to buy something that's going to work.
Well, and you might not notice the resolution difference. It might not appear any different to the eye, but it sure will on paper.
Oh.
And this is not a really good strategy for Xbox, trying to sound bigger when one can say, ha, 1080, and the other one says, 720.
720 is 8-year-old technology.
It just
That's
doesn't.
embarrassing.
I mean, even if you don't notice a difference on screen with your eyes, for people who care about specs and even just for bragging rights and general sales, I mean, I think it'll make a difference.
It's another notch in the opposite viewpoint of PlayStation. I mean, and for going to PlayStation. And we're historically huge Xbox guys. We love the 360.
Yeah.
But this whole, and there's a lot of things going on here with this Xbox One. And we're going to actually elaborate on a lot of this gaming stuff this week because we're tired of the fog. That's what we were talking about at lunch. This is too confusing for people. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out and we're going to see what the most commonly asked questions are for this technology. Feel free to post some in the comments. And then we're going to actually investigate them and find out what the real answers are. Because even from us who we know tech,
Yeah.
it's like it's still confusing for us.
Well, I've been following it, and I wouldn't say I've been like super sleuthing it or anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just trying to personally decide which way I want to go.
Yeah.
And I still, at this point, I'm not getting any.
Yeah, and it comes out in what, 3 weeks?
2 weeks for the PlayStation.
2 weeks.
The PlayStation, I'm pretty sure, comes out the 16th, something like that, November 16th.
Yeah.
And the Xbox is like a week or two behind that.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm
Who
letting
knows?
it pass.
Who knows?
And the saving grace of all this is that I know for a fact PlayStation is doing this, and I think Xbox is too. But this I actually am in support of is if you go out and buy Assassin's Creed Black Flag
Uh-huh.
or Call of Duty or Battlefield, if you buy it for PlayStation 3, you can upgrade to the next gen version, the PlayStation 4 version, for $10.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So I guess it comes with a code or something if you buy it digitally and whatever, but then you just pay another $10 and then you get the upgraded version.
That's a cool idea. It's good. It's like a migration period where they know that the people, they're going to still be playing these games when the new systems come out. And that's a cool idea to kind of make it so you can go out and get that
It's
game
definitely
and play
nice
the
for
new
people like me
system.
who I'm really trying to weigh which way I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool feature. I agree with you.
It's becoming difficult.
Okay, so Xbox, PlayStation, more insanity. I mean, really. From the Microsoft perspective, I think that this is absolutely unacceptable. If you're going to generate a product that costs more than your competition,
I don't think it'll hurt initial sales.
I don't think
people
most,
are kind of locked
most
into
people
their
don't.
pre-orders.
Most people don't even realize it. Probably.
Maybe they don't
We
even care.
probably overanalyze the crap out of this. But in reality, you are going to end up buying an inferior product by hardware. In my opinion, it could be a software issue too, because they have layered all this freaking media center crap on top of their operating system.
Well,
as
you know,
well.
I think
They've got 3 different operating systems, from what I understand.
I
on
think the thing
Microsoft.
that concerns me the most and what's making me why this is an issue is Xbox went with the DVD player when Sony went with the Blu-ray.
Right.
And wasn't too bad at first, but toward the end of its lifetime, it has become an issue where PlayStation gets one disc
Yep.
or can download it, and we get like 6 or 7.
Yep.
Okay, that's an exaggeration, but we had the last few games I've got have been multiple disc releases, and we can't play Blu-rays. Not even sure if
And
we
the
want to,
developers
but-
had to drag them kicking and screaming to do installs.
So
So the developers had to skeletonize their game in order to get it to work on the Xbox.
yeah, I just don't want another system that is limiting itself out of the gate.
Yeah, out of the gate. That's good call.
So,
So, what do you think, Internet, about the whole controversy for the 720p 1080p? Is it a sign of bad things to come for Xbox One, or is it something that we're over-exaggerating and will actually, in some ways, be worked out in the long run for that hardware? Maybe they'll come up with a better way to program it. Maybe they'll have a better way to tap into the hardware. They just can't do it on release. That's entirely a possibility.
I want everyone to win me over. They both have such good games.
Yes, and we love games.
Like Rise and Titanfall looks awesome.
It does.
Yeah, PlayStation's got.
And should we buy these consoles when they come out so we can do a legitimate review, even though we can't afford them?
Twist my arm, we'll do it for you.
Yes, well, just for you.
We need an excuse.
That's right. And that's all.